Welcome to another check-in episode in our Delirious West 2026 podcast series, where we're following a brave bunch of runners as they take on one of Australia's wildest ultra trail events and generously bring us along for the journey to the start line. Today, we're catching up with one of our Delirious bound legends to hear how things are tracking, the wins, the wobbles, and all the lessons in between. Let's dive in and see where they're at this month. Today on the Zen Run podcast, we are catching up with another one of our absolutely crazy, delirious athletes to see how he's going on the way to the start line. Ben, hello.
Hey, Michelle, how are you this morning? And it's morning, which is a change for us.
It's morning, I know. I've actually had a really busy first training period last week. I had lots of really long things to do. Mm-hmm. And then we went straight into going to Melbourne to celebrate my sister-in-law's 60th birthday. And so as you can probably tell, I'm a little croaky because we had almost no sleep for the entire weekend. And then we bought another daughter, our other daughter.
You bought another daughter?
We bought her. She was cheap.
The market down there, it's incredible what you can get.
We bought Natasha.
Yeah.
Who's going to be super crew for Nicola at Delirious. We bought her car back. She's got a new car, so we bought her Tasmanian plated car back on the boat on Monday. So we had a day sail on the boat just a couple of days ago, and I feel like I haven't had enough sleep for a week.
That's pretty hectic.
Great Delirious training, I was thinking.
Yeah. So no wonder when I was trying to book a session in at the last minute, as has been required this time. There wasn't much in there. I'm like, oh wow, Michelle's obviously got a lot on, and I've got a lot on. Work for us has been really exciting. I think I was saying once before we've launched our product Jack app in the States. So as of right this second, we've got our three original founders standing at a trade booth in Florida at a massive trade show there.
Exciting.
With that, so being on the product side, the software and sort of everything around it, it's been really hectic for us the last few weeks, and which is why I think, I don't know, must have been a week ago, I messaged you, I'm like, Michelle, am I due again? Like it feels like it's only been a minute, but I can't see that we've done one of these for a while. And January just absolutely flew.
It melted, didn't it?
And I know it would, because, when an event's next year, it's like, next year, it's not even real at that point. And then all of a sudden it's January, and then all of a sudden it's February. And looking at the days count, I'm not going to call it, but it's getting a lot lower, and it's really real now.
I just looked it up, and I'm just waiting for it to load because it's okay. It won't come up. There's got a bit of an error on the page for the countdown, and I'm not unhappy about that.
That's right. It's for everyone's benefit, baby.
When I talk to Gabe, he always starts with, it's only however many weeks. And
well, I think we're into
last week. So
and I think we're into the 40-something days now. So it's getting super exciting. It definitely feels real. I've said every episode, but I'm going to book my airfares today.
Oh, I've done
got
that.
Accommodations sorted. Oh, good on you. You're all sorted.
Well, I'm not getting off Tassie yet. I haven't booked Tassie to Melbourne, but I booked Melbourne to Perth.
Oh, from Melbourne.
I booked the big one.
Yeah. Fantastic. So when will you fly into Perth, and how's that going to work at your end?
We're getting there on the 6th, the four of us, and we're getting a camper van each, and then going in different directions. No, and then going down to Pemberton, is it? That's probably what we'll do. Is it Pemberton?
I don't.
The town that starts with P that's near Northcliffe.
Oh, I don't know that part because I'm a Walpole. Of course, being a miler, I'm sort of focused on that next bit. No, I know nothing between the two.
This is what I did last year anyway, because it's what Big Kev said to do. So we'll probably go down there and then stay the night, and then sometimes there's breakfast and things the next morning.
Yes, I've heard about. I've been invited to the breakfast, though I haven't been entered into the right event to go to that one. But
so that's what we'll probably do, unless somebody has another thing. Which reminds me, I probably should look at the caravan park or whatever to see it there for the two vans. But and then the next morning will be time to go. Well, that afternoon on the Tuesday it'll be go pick up your bibs and stuff and have to
Yeah,
do your bag
yeah.
check, and then the next day it'll be time to go.
Oh, exciting. I would love to, having been sort of part of the event team side of the 200 milers. Obviously that build up around the 200 start and the crew race and all of that is pretty amazing. I mean, being a miler for this event myself, I sort of rock in a day later and there's still going to be hundreds of people at Walpole and it'll be super exciting. But I would love to catch that Northcliffe side of that first bit. So for the spectacle and being at the event as much as anything. So maybe next year I've penciled in
you could turn up
I could.
a day earlier.
I could actually. Hadn't thought of that. But anyway, I mean, next year I've penciled in the 200 miler for next year. So hopefully I'll get to see all of that.
And you'll be all over it. So
exactly.
How is your training going?
Look, training's going really well. I've got to say, I'm really happy with it. I did think so. I don't know if you get this, but like I'll talk from the Ben perspective, not the Michelle perspective. But 11:30 p.m. Ben can set an alarm for say 4:30 and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to get up. It's going to be amazing, and this is what I'll do extra tomorrow morning. And then the 4:30 a.m. Ben is not actually the same Ben, and can often just be like, no, that's not. I'm not that guy at all. And then hit a snooze and maybe get up a bit later. I think it's been a bit the same with my program. So, through November doing Movember and doing a nice solid 200 Ks, 50 a week. And then I did my Chat GPT program, you might remember, and sort of structured something right out. And I thought I would be around 80, 90 kilometres a week by now in my program. Turns out the Ben Pyman that has to run those Ks now is different to the Ben Pyman that scheduled all that stuff earlier on. But I mean, life and work's been super busy and super exciting. And as it gets a little bit closer, I'm probably one of these people that's more like, I better not push myself too hard because I don't want to get injured, as opposed to people that are like, I haven't done enough Ks, I've got to get out and do more. I suppose there's different approaches. So I have definitely, I'm a little bit older. I probably mention that every podcast, but it just feels like the right thing to do. And having rocked up last year with an injury, that was the main thing this year, is to get there with enough Ks in the legs and plenty of running, but not to the point where I push it too hard. So I'm still floating around the 50 kilometres a week mark, and that still most weeks looks like a 10 or a 12 during the week at night time, and then a 20 or a 25, or maybe a back-to-back 10 and a 25 on the weekends. And that has settled in sort of really nicely. So I'm happy to stick to that. The long runs are getting out a little bit longer. I think I got out to a 29 on a Saturday or a Sunday, and that's normally always trails. I'll keep building those up a little bit and building the combo of the Saturday, Sunday to get a bit of a cumulative, double long run. But I've given up on that idea that I'm going to be cranking out 90, 100 kilometre weeks and doing this massive build. It just doesn't feel like the right thing. So, in that context, no, I'm really happy with how things are going. We had a hot week, I think the week before last.
Some hot weather there.
Yeah, I rarely ever go out for a run of less than 10 Ks. It's just sort of what works for me and what I like to do. But that week I did like an 8 and a 5 and a 7 or something like that. And that was nice to mix it up a bit, just to get out there and get back again. And
do you always use distance in your plans and when you're...
I do, yeah, and only because it's easier. My brain works with that set of numbers easier than trying to divide things by 60 and time on feet and everything. I find a bit hard. So I find it easier for course, like for route planning as well. Yeah. And people often say, oh, we're going to like, I'll say I'll come from, they'll be like, oh, how long will it take? I'm like, I have no idea, but I can tell you exactly how far it is. So if I tried to plan time on feet stuff, it just wouldn't, it
doesn't gel.
It wouldn't quite work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's sort of how it goes for me. And that build, again, while not quite as drastic as I thought it would be, will still bit by bit I'll get the Ks up over the coming weeks.
Having now done Delirious one time, it's that tiredness and how to train for that. obviously you need to do lots of running and have lots of time on your feet. But I was thinking about it this weekend with this really busy week that I'd had, and then weekend where I still did 32,000 steps most days, even on the weekend.
That's good day on day.
So that was running and walking at the same,
Yeah.
all mixed together, and a bit of
Fantastic.
shopping in Melbourne. But the point was I was tired. And I wonder whether that's actually, well, I think that is good training for, like I said it as a joke earlier, but I think it is good training for Delirious.
Oh, absolutely.
So even if I'm not tired always because of the time I'm feet, but I'm tired because of my life or whatever, something's going on in my life, which is mean I haven't had enough sleep or whatever. And then I still get up. I try and make myself be the Michelle that will get up when the alarm goes off to do that run.
Yep.
That's the person who gets kicked out of the camper van after 2 hours.
That's right.
And who, when they first get up, I do not recognize myself. Like, I don't mean physically, but my brain is like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. But I push through that, that, and I feel awful, I feel horrible. But I know that in 5 minutes, once I've got my shoes on and I'm out the door, it'll be very soon. I'll be fine. So it's that training. That makes sense.
I can completely see that that's training. It's training about being uncomfortable. It's training about, and Phil Gore talks about it, about, I can't remember the exact phrasing he used now, but that practice that when things are hard, you're going to be the one that makes not the right decision. It's the right decision, but the hard decision at the moment, like, yes, I can. And then you wait for your body to wake up. I mean, those, and I think too, just being out of routine, mixing it up so that you're not in this lovely thing, and I have the sleep and then I wake up at my natural time, and your body clock's working for you, because you're going to be working against all of that. I think anything you're doing that's putting you in that space and you're having to make those decisions, it's great training for sure.
Yeah, that's good then.
Yeah,
tell myself.
That's 4.5 stars from me. It's fantastic.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Now, are you also going forward to the training so far, you're really happy with it, despite it not being necessarily what I was going to say.
I'm not quite the guy I thought I'd be at this point.
Ben, a few months ago planned. You're still really happy with this, which is great. I think that's a mindset is a massive part of what we're doing, as you know.
Yep.
The next month, what are you planning? A similar type of?
I think similar. I mean, as I've said before, I live in the Adelaide Hills, sort of on the edge of Adelaide Hills, and I love to run all the trails and courses around here. So they're generally very dry, very rocky, technical, very very steep, I suppose, in shorter climbs and so on. I feel that gives me a base of really good sort of mechanical endurance, not even muscular endurance, which it does as well, but I think getting to an event like this with the mechanics in a good state where they're hardy and strong.
Is that reaction stuff too?
Over the days.
The stability to be able to.
Yeah, that's right. It's all those ancillary muscles and little nervous systems and things that will fire when you're rough underfoot and all those sorts of things. That's a really great base. I'm going to sort of keep that at least one session a week, probably a longer one. But it's time now to hit the beach, I think. So I can almost see it from here, though it's probably a half-hour drive out to the beach in Adelaide from here, which effectively runs, 50 kilometres down the coast. I'll probably head out for some long ones out there now and sort of maybe get up around that, 25, maybe 30 Ks. And it's literally running, for me, it's running south along the beach, hopefully timing it that the southerly wind kicks in, turning around and then getting a nice tailwind back up home again. So that, again, that sand underfoot, I think is really good. Getting closer to approximating the actual terrain of the event. So I keep my nice hilly rocky stuff to keep strong and, give me that climbing power and those legs that are still working really well, a lot of Ks in, but at the same time, get out on the flat sand. And it's sort of, thinking about, for me, Delirious was and will be again this year very much a checkpoint to checkpoint or aid station to aid station proposition. And I think getting out for those runs of, more than sort of 20, 25 Ks, knowing that that's the longest section for me, I think, and it'll be a bit different this year, but Denmark to Lowlands was the longest bit and the hardest bit for me last year.
Okay.
So yeah, if I can get out and do a 30K run up and down the beach, not only have I got that feeling of, hey, I've done this distance so many times, I can run further than the furthest one I need to, but also for us, I think it was 3 sections of beach around 8 kilometers in the 100-mile course. And again, going out and doing 20 on the beach and then coming back to the 8s aren't going to feel so bad, other than the fact that I'll be delirious. And also the sand on those beaches is a lot looser and deeper than the sand on my local beaches. So, but anyway, I think again going towards you getting more specific to the terrain and the mentality it's going to take. So yeah, it's the beach for me. I think before Delirious last year, I did one run on the sand.
Okay.
Which was sort of a bit of a joke. It was, I better go run on some sand before I do it. But this year, I'll have a lot more sand miles.
Now you're making me feel like I need to go to the beach.
Slow ones.
Like I did do a lot more beach stuff last year in my training, but I haven't so far. Anyway, we'll see.
So yeah, it's going to look like that. Still going with my strength training. I missed my strength sessions last week, so I'm sitting on very sore gluteus maximuses at the moment because I tend to do I do a few bits and pieces, but I normally do Romanian deadlifts, but also reverse lunges, and I find there's nothing like a nice compact lunge to really get into the glutes. So yeah, priority for me to try and keep the glutes strong and firing because that really helps counteract those ITB sort of quad dominant issues. So definitely noticed that I skipped those for a week or more, and they came up nice and sore. And even like I went for a run last night in the park, in Moriato, under torchlight, and just those sluggish, tired strength training legs. I kicked about 3 rocks and nearly took a couple of stacks, and I think again it's just having tired legs, but getting out and running something hilly on tired legs, perfect. That's the sort of training we want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a bit like that.
I must be doing it right because I've been tripping a lot.
Oh yeah, you see,
that's right.
Yeah, again, 4.5 stars.
I must be doing something right. I'm like, don't you dare fall, and then I trip over nothing half the time. And then I did take a stack over a car bump in a car park. The bumps.
Oh, just caught the foot on the top, like.
Yeah. That's not. I knew it was there, but it was at the very end of 3 or 4 hours of something.
Yeah.
Just walk fast packing. I do a lot of fast packing.
Yep.
And it was. I just went, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Luckily, I just grazed myself a bit, but it is a bit of a hazard. Totally. It's a good sign, but it's also a bit of a hazard because if you do hurt yourself, it's not a good thing, is it?
Well, you don't want to. No, you don't want to now. But at the same time, doing one of those little ankle roll that you catch, or catching your toes or your tread or whatever, and getting away with it. That's also a good sign because your body
you're reacting.
Turned on every system it needed. And I was literally did the winding up the windows thing last night when I took a good one. But again, stayed on the feet. So it's like, got away with it. And the systems all work.
Excellent.
I was thinking too, because one of them I sort of caught the tread going over the top of a rock. And again, the runs I do are quite rocky here. And I was just thinking, the difference between not catching your tread and catching your tread, it's only probably a millimetre.
That's right.
There's nothing in it. And your body gets so attuned to exactly, the height of the steps, the way your leg swings and how it gets over things. And, it only needs to be out by that tiny fraction and off you go. But, got away with it. So,
I'm glad you did.
And I've also sort of out runs like that and some others I've had where the legs have felt tired. Mm-hmm. I'm now starting to remember how amazing it feels when you're tapered. And on the day going out with really fresh legs is just going to feel so amazing. When you're stacking up, even like I am, I'm not doing a lot of Ks, but even 50 a week on week, a bit of strength. I stand up at work most of the day. It's easy to forget. You're carrying a lot of cumulative fatigue, and there is a lot of training effect in that. And we get out the door and we just keep doing it. And some days you're going uphill, you think, geez, this is a bit harder than it normally is. And
I'm never going to be able to do the whole thing. But
that's right. So, that was only 20 Ks and I'm exhausted. But yeah, after a couple of weeks of tapering and getting carbs in and doing all that, running on fresh legs is such an amazing feeling. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think the other thing I've noticed, because we've had quite a hot spell,
Yeah.
you're Adelaide again, getting out for runs and thinking, geez, man, this is hard. Like, God, I'm not really doing that great. And then we had a change in the weather yesterday, and so the barometer dropped, the temperature dropped right out. You go out when it's like 15 degrees instead of 28 degrees, and it's like, oh man, this is incredibly awesome and easy.
That was probably the same cold snap where I got to go out in 5 degrees.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
that's PB type
so
weather
cold?
once you get down that cold.
Yeah. Such a sudden change.
And so I do remember, Delirious last year. It was not like it was t-shirt weather for me nearly the whole way through. I didn't get that last bit of the rain like you guys got, but going to an event where you're not having to worry about like literally freezing overnight, but at the same time the days are in sort of the low 20s. That's great climate for running, and I think it's made a massive difference to the event shifting from February to April, and just in terms of the sustainability and the approachability is not the right word, but in April it's just such a different proposition for people coming over for maybe first long event, first time in sand or whatever it is. April's just great. Now I know we could get a bit warm or we could get a bit wet, but some of those years they did it in February in like real heat, day on day on day. I just can't imagine that. So
it's one less thing for us to have to be, worried about
exactly
and deal with, I suppose.
Yeah.
To make us delirious.
Yeah.
How are you going with all of your gear stuff? Have you got all of your everything you needed?
Going well. What I did, I remember last year before the event, I mean, I had a bit of stuff going on, but then also the travel and getting everything together and whatnot. I found it quite stressful over those couple of weeks, and I had lists here and there and things, and don't forget that. And then I got half a bag, and I sort of put it together, but that was quite a lot to think through, as well as the travel and the other things I was doing. This year, I've put together a list. So I had an hour one afternoon, and I sat down and just blasted out everything in a list I could think of that I would need to take.
Excellent.
It is in a spreadsheet. But we'll call it a list because I don't sound so type A that way, which I'm absolutely not. But what that means is I've got sort of everything here, from literally like jacket, soft bottles, thermal top, thermal pants, bivvy bag, that sort of stuff, and required gear. And all being in a list now is good, because it just means as I think of something during the day, I can just jump into the list, chuck the extra thing, So I've sort of got that build out now. And then I just I've got a tick box next to, do I have it? Do I need to buy it? And then just visualizing what goes where. Is like, oh, does that go in my pack, or is that a drop bag thing, or is it a hand-in thing? So yeah, I feel really good about that this year. In that, firstly, it means I've listed everything I can think of. I've got 99% of it. And means I can just come back to the list when it does get close to packing. I can just sort of check through this. And I've done that same thing. I listened to Sim's episode yesterday, and great to hear we're not talking about her injury anymore. No. It's just very Sim. We're just doing it, which is awesome. But yeah, she was the same. She's like, no, I've got this sort of area in a room or a couple of bags or whatever she said where I lay stuff out. So I've started doing the thing. It's like anything I'm not going to need, it's in the bag. I've checked it off. I feel good to be a little bit more organised this year in terms of that. Stuff to organise, I've got to. So I'm wearing the full overshoe gaiter again this year, the sort of the shoe cover. So I've got my new Tarkine Giants ready to go for the event, still in the box. So I'll probably take them for a 5K run and then get them into the shoemaker just to stitch on the Velcro all the way around for me. So after that, if someone said, oh, Ben, you've slept for 3 weeks and you've got to get on the plane tomorrow, I could probably, based on this list and what I've got already set up, a couple of hours, I could be
good to go. You'd be a bit panicky, but good to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh God. I'd be a dreadful mess. But no, I feel like this year, and just having done it, going into something like this the first time, so much of it, there's a lot of mental load in what it's going to be like and what am I going to need, and I'll do this here and I'll do this there, and all this processing really is just in your imagination. Having actually done it, seen it, pack my stuff, know what I need. So much more relaxed going in. So do I sound relaxed? I have just drunk a big black coffee.
Sort of.
Purposefully relaxed.
Do you have a plan? Have we talked about that before? Like for each section? Are you going to get that granular where you'll write up?
I don't, no. And that's because, well, a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not going with a crew, which for me is great because it's a lot less planning and expense and things to worry about. But then, if you don't have a crew, you're not worried about timings and where to meet. I'm not, unless something goes...
By the way, I let my crew worry about that. I don't worry.
Well, that's true. And
they just have to be there.
The same thing.
I don't care.
They organise me. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. No sort of race plan. I shouldn't be pushing up against cut off, which could be different if I do the 200 next year. So again, I don't need to really compute all that. So no, I think that's a bit of a load off. And I tend to run by feel. I don't look at my heart rate very much. I run more on my breathing patterns. So again, in terms of pacing on the day, it's not so much, I said I'd be doing 8s through this section or whatever. It's purely off breathing. And so for me, and I must have picked this up in my 20s when I was doing triathlons, if I'm running easy, it tends to be like 4 strides of breathing in, 4 strides of breathing out.
You're doing
and that's my speedo basically for the event. If there's a slight incline, it'll come up to like maybe 3 breaths in, 4 breaths out. If I'm going a bit harder, 3 and 3.
Here's a fun fact.
Do it.
Even breathing is good. It's great.
But
apparently, and I found this quite because our lungs. If we do even all the time, one side of our body gets more strengthened than the other side.
Interesting.
It's to do with the muscles that are required to breathe.
Yeah.
So if we breathe in and out evenly, then you're not distributing it as much. I mean, I think it's a minuscule amount, but
train the whole system and do some different breathing patterns.
So changing it up a little bit sometimes, and obviously when you hit a hill, you had an odd
changes a bit.
Then,
Anyway. Oh, that's good. So my 3 and 4, 3 in, 4 out. Is that sort of just starting to make a bit of an effort? So I'll probably be doing a lot of that. And in terms of something like Delirious, if I find myself breathing in for 3, out for 3, I'm definitely pushing too hard for a miler wanting to complete it. If I was racing it and I was fit enough to race it, that'd be different. But for me, that'll be that, bring your pace back. So long way of saying, because that's the way I'm going to run it, literally no pacing plans at all.
A lot of the thinking that I will put into my plan when I get it out is to do with what I want Simon to do, for example, or what I'm thinking, and what he should check and, charging my watch and things like that. But and what I might need, but you will probably do much of that thinking what you might need well ahead of time because that's what you'll put in your bag at that age stage.
Exactly. So I remember last year, sitting down with my drop bags and sort of divvying them all out, and I'll have the same plan for this year. So basically, I'll be picking up stuff out of a drop bag with enough nutrition to get me through, each of the each stage. And then also eat at the aid station. So that then fits back in with my, I guess it is a nutrition plan as such, not per K or per this or that, just purely each drop bag. And each drop bag will probably be the same for me in terms of what I'm picking up. So, and I did a quick carb count just to see what I'm looking at. Turns out I'm very good at eating. And unless it's hot, nausea and running just aren't a thing. Every run I go out on, I'll have something in my stomach. If like first thing in the morning it would be a banana at least or something else. And if I'm out later in the day or on a longer run, I'm sort of eating as I'm going. So gut training, tick, 4.5 stars for me on that. Looking at what I'll pick up. So each drop bag, I'm going to have probably an LCM. Firstly, just preface, any dentists listening, ignore all of this. Liver, kidney specialists, ignore all of this. And also, don't feed your kids this diet. But I run well on pure carbs. So an LCM bar, which is one of those little...
it's rice bubbles.
That's it. And when you look at the nutritional packet, forget there's rice bowls, it's sugar and air and nothing else. They're incredible. So I have an LCM.
It's basically the not chocolate version of Nikki's Cocoa Pops.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Imagine Cocoa Pops with some marshmallows and sugar somehow. Yeah. So I'll reckon I'll grab an LCM. I'll have a chocolate Pop-Tart, which I like. I will grab a banana because, health first.
Right.
I like the little tiny bags of Doritos. I actually love Doritos. And
a bit of salt.
having a salty snack, for me, really good. Possibly I'll grab a gel, just one for each section. So I'll take 10 or so, just because it's quite compact carbs. I like the SIS or SIS isotonic gels. They're it's a slightly bigger packet. They've got a bit of texture. They're not sort of goopy and sticky. They're more...
A bit more liquid.
Yeah, they just go down really easily. I like the pineapple flavour. It's almost a bit chunky. I love the Nerds gummy clusters. I don't know if we've talked about that before, but they're I
know what they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've got a bit of a cult following. You've probably seen all the memes. Oh, yeah, for sure. They're amazing, and I did a little nutritional look at those, and they've got a huge amount of salt in them, basically. So not only are they glucose-type chewy lollies, but massive amount of salt. So they're akin to a gel in terms of their sort of proportions of both. And when you buy a packet of Nerds, I should say gummy clusters, because the Nerds are just the salty bits. The gummy clusters got the lolly part as well. You pick them up in the supermarket, they're like $5-6 a packet compared to your Allen's lollies, which might be $2 a packet. You can go, oh, wow, yeah, they're pretty pricey. But then you compare it to gels, and they're like similar stuff, third of the price of running gels. So I love those. Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I'll probably also take a little half a sandwich in each checkpoint. Yep. So I'll make those just before we put our drop bags in and chuck those out. Peanut butter probably, or maybe honey. I found last year the first 6 or 7 sandwiches were pretty good. Then by the time they'd been out there a bit longer, I was sort of skipping those for the last bit.
Do you find it hard to actually eat? Like, I always think I'll love them. I love Vegemite sandwiches, and I love fruit buns and things. Actually, I quite eat. I eat most things, but bread. I always think I'm going to really like it out there, and by the time I've been running for a day or two, just dry and stick, and I can't. It's not moist enough. Can't get it down. It's just not. I mean, I'll still eat it, but it's just not moist enough. So I don't enjoy it. I might have 1 or 2 bites, and then I find it, put it in my. So later on, you clear my pack out, and it's got half eaten this and half eaten that.
7 half-eaten.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's it just gets all dry and there.
I think kind of when I'm hydrating well and my heart rate's not too high, getting that stuff down is not a problem for me at all. But again, it'd be so weather dependent. If we go out there and it's sort of 28 degrees or so, and I'm not hydrating well, then some of this stuff will still go down really easily. But yeah, you're right. Something like a peanut butter sandwich is going to be such a chore. Probably not so good. And I'm nearly through. Then those little fruit sticks you get, they're like, you give them to kids and they're just absolutely pure sugar, like coloured sugar.
Fruit leather, I think, or something.
Yeah, there's some that are a little bit smaller and chewier than those. They run well. They've got 17 grams of carbs in just one stick. The thing's got to be no more than 20 grams, and it's 17 grams of carbs. So again, don't give them to your kids. And then on top of all that, Tailwind works well for me. So I'll be drinking probably half strength Tailwind in every bottle through. Grab a bit of Coke. Each aid station, I'll throw down some Coke. And so what I've just listed out there is my list of stuff to pick up at every single aid station. And you're looking at about 250 grams of carbs in that lot. So it's a lot. But again, if I'm drinking well, I'll get all this down, no problem. And then I'll get to the aid station and ask what's on the menu and throw down a bacon and egg roll on top of that or something else as well. So good plan for nutrition. Same thing I'm going to pick up every checkpoint, plenty to eat in between, and then, just opportunistically eat as many burritos and bowls of mango chicken fried rice as I can.
I'm terrible not terrible, but like listening to you and some of the others as well, like Gabe, for example, very specific about what he's going to consume, just like you. And but not necessarily on the what, but what's in it. You know, how many
Okay.
carbs
Yep.
and things, which
Yep.
I just eat whatever's there or whatever I put there. But I've got no idea really. I mean, probably when I purchased it, I would have thought about it for 5 minutes and that's about it. But
Yep.
I don't. So what did you say? You're not really an A-type personality?
No, but I
And then
can
you
get a
go
little bit
through and
hyper
tell us a
focused.
whole lot of stuff about all your
Same
carbs.
time. It's
So
interesting, isn't it? I'm learning so much about myself on this podcast,
this is
Michelle.
not bad. This is good. And I'm learning that maybe I should be a bit more like that. Maybe. But then, I don't know. It's interesting. There's lots of ways to get to the finish line. And that's what I love
there
about
is.
it.
Yeah, I think in terms of this, like this is similar to what I packed in my drop bags last
Yeah.
year, and it's food that I've trained with, so I know it works. And food
Yeah.
I would, like Doritos, I'll eat Doritos as soon as the race is over, and probably some for breakfast the next morning as well. So it's just stuff that works. I haven't to this point actually counted the carbs. I've just gone, that looks about the right amount.
Yeah.
But then this last week I was thinking, well, how much is this actually? How does this compare to the sorts of carbs, carb rates people are recommending? So that's why I sort of
You dug
added
into it
all out. And then also it was good then because I could compare, what's the gel compared to the fruit bar? Well, the fruit bar is a fifth of the price, and it's just a bit chewier sort of thing. Well, you probably need 3 of them as opposed to one gel, but it was just an interesting way for me to sort of compare. I
actually think that's really valuable information though. Like when I went last year, I think I spoke to Bianca, who's also one of the Delirious podcast people, and said to her, some suggestions for nutrition because I was racing around the supermarket in Western Australia trying to work out what to get. And she gave me some suggestions and they were just like simple, like you said, they were the kind of things you get in the supermarket. They're not, high priced, packed with all of the things you can probably get mostly in things off the supermarket shelf for
absolutely,
and a quarter of the price.
Yeah, and again, that's the beauty.
Taste better.
That's the beauty of being a middle of the packer sort of completionist, as opposed to a podium runner that needs the lightest, most regulated product. The body works on this and that. Being a bit more opportunistic, and I think Bianca and Nick are perfect people to ask for that because they do a lot of this journey sort of running where she talks about they'll crack out a huge long run and then they'll sit at Hungry Jack's and whip down a big meal and then get out and run on that. I mean, that's awesome, and that's how they can do these heart of the south,
the crazy runs
events where you're just eating whatever you can find. So I think it brings us back to the reality of, sort of in a way, food is food. If it's something you can get down, it's not going to give your guts too much problems. You don't need to spend, I don't know what a decent gel is nowadays. You don't need to spend $4.80 per gel. And people will recommend you eating one of those every 5Ks. That's a hell of a lot of gels.
It's a lot of sugar. A lot
after
of
4 or
whatever's
5,
in there.
I'm done. Yeah.
No,
so anyway, that's kind of my nutrition planning.
I love that.
Yeah, big shout out last year to I'm having a mental blank. It'll come back to me, but the guys that I travel with and sort of took me down Tamsin, that's right. Tamsin sort of looked at my plan. She's like, "Oh, are you gonna put any fruit in there, or maybe you want a little sandwich?" And so enough to say she was absolutely right about the bananas were fantastic. The sandwich was great to soak up some of the extra sugar. And she was also absolutely right about pseudo cream. And I won't go into all the details around pseudo cream, but it was massive. If I could have put the pseudo cream in a sandwich and eaten it and applied it from the inside out, that probably would have been even better. So you pick up the tips, the life-saving tips from people all over the place.
It's amazing how often, as the closer we get to the start line, these calls will revolve around creams and the like.
As we said before, we had this chat, didn't we? All the technical sides of the gear and the performance-related gear and this versus that, and that's a bit lighter and that's a bit stretchier, all that. But it's like my glasses, my phone going flat, my lubricants, and some sugar. That's actually 85% of the challenge. The rest of it's just fluff, or 1 or 2 percenters. It's
after my week last week, now I'm feeling my back. My back just got ripped to shreds, just from sweat and then
back.
Yeah, so my pack
Yep.
sitting on there, but normally in a race or a long run or whatever, training run, I would get Simon to tape it. But I'm like,
Yes,
oh,
I remember you mentioning that.
I'm just fast packing. I don't need him to put,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
tape is called, on fix a mole on my
Fix me,
back
yeah.
because
Yep.
I got nothing on my back during Delirious. So 4 days of stuff, I got nothing, but
Yep.
little training runs for a couple of hours here at the moment. It just
Yeah.
rips up my back because I think, oh, I don't really need it, and then
Yep. Yep.
and now I'm like, oh, the first shower afterwards, it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Well, but this is perfect time for those reminders, right? Because
what?
it'll be nice and fresh when you when
Be
you're
just
really going to
healed
need
by
it.
the time I
Yeah,
you can put tape over the top of it.
that's right. So when people
Anyway.
talk about managing injuries, you're like, oh no, legs are fine, but all this skin.
Just this little bit, it's like a little gravel rash on your back.
Yeah, yeah. I was noticing the other day because I run with my poles are telescopic poles. They're not the Z bend poles, so they don't go down
Okay.
super small.
Yeah.
They're a little bit longer.
Yep.
And I have the holder for those that they came in strung sideways across my
Quiver.
back or diagonal. The quiver, yeah. And so the way I string it means my vest sits a little bit differently. So my vest sits sort of a little bit harder against my neck on the
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a
on the
rash.
right hand side. And I was out late and I was finding just as I'm like adjusting my glasses every 25 steps, pushing them up,
I'm
pushing them
always
up. Same with my pack. I'm pulling it off my neck, pulling it off my neck, pulling it off my neck.
good
And I've
exercise.
started thinking, yeah, sort of 40 hours of that. So if I come in with a massive patch of Fix 'em all on the right hand side of my neck, yeah, again, these, as you said, your little runs, you can get away with it, but then you go on a longer fast pack or you're out doing Delirious and those little things that they're a bit annoying, but yeah, after some days.
That's
Yeah.
right. This is not fun.
I was remembering too, I think last year I ended up with some tape on my hands just in certain spots where my pole handles were running. And I know,
I need gloves. That was one of my things on my list. I keep forgetting. I think I've got everything, but I need gloves.
I thought you had the Lecky poles with the
No,
built-in.
Nikki has them. I've got Black Diamond. What are they called?
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, like
Got it,
everyone
got
else, the second most popular ones out there.
Yep, yep. I was thinking about gloves, but I think I'll do the same and just apply the little bits of tape if I have some problems. Because I was thinking about gloves and circulation and wasn't overthinking them at all. But
Really
yeah, I
liked
thought
gloves last year. I just
not.
wore
So
them
what
out.
sort of gloves? Just
I just go to something like
Garden gloves.
Anaconda and get but fingerless ones.
Yes, yep.
Like for paddling or like they're just general ones, but they've
like a
padded.
bike glove.
Yeah,
sort
exactly
of.
like a bike
Got it.
club, and they're
Got it,
just
got it.
padded in the middle.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've seen quite a few people wearing those. Yeah.
That worked really well for me last year, but I lost one. I don't know where it went. I don't think it came back from Western Australia, which is
with
a
all
bit
the-
weird. I just lost one.
With all the left-hand toe socks. that are,
Probably.
let them disappear as
Gone with
well.
all the pens and the paper clips. Anyway,
Yeah.
no idea where that is.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like you're getting very prepared and that you've got things under control. You've been doing some micro thinking, getting into the
Little bit. I think the hyperfocus label fits me really, really quite nicely. So yeah, I can delve into some
great.
of these things as deeply as I need to. Hopefully not overthinking too much. But yeah, generally, again, going with no super. I mean, I've got my A goal. We talked about it. I want to get in daylight on Saturday, and the course is going to be a bit shorter. I'm thinking this year for the milers because of the new finish and some little bits that are being cut off, and we don't have the sand patch or the Shaz's diversion we had last year.
Yeah.
So it's hard to
Looking
compare.
forward to
Oh yeah, not
I've still got a
doing that.
very visual thing in my head
Yeah.
about that diversion.
For
Because I was
me,
like, I could just skip
yeah.
over that. I'm sure the path will be fine.
I think for the people that had run straight through many years in a row to have to go around, particularly tough for them. But I remember it being really hard on my feet because the rest of the course is so beautiful underfoot, and I'm used to quite hard trails here. And that was the one thing that really struck me about Delirious. Underfeet, it's beautiful because it's all so soft. But that diversion was pretty much all hard surfaces and some bitumen and
It was bitumen and with a nasty camber as well, some parts. Of it.
yeah, and then that hill at the end as you sort of came up that road section, that was nasty. So looking forward to not doing that this year. But so I'm not course for course comparing, trying trying to work out these exact targets. But yeah, so I am going with my A goal. But that aside, just trying to take a relaxed, pragmatic approach to the training and how it's fitting into life. And that, well, again, and I've said it before, if I get there on the day and exactly the same thing happens and my ITB comes up, which it's not going to because I've been much more careful this year, but if it did, well, no worries. Out come the poles. I'll hike it end to end and just have a good time. So I think not having the pressure of being a young gun or a podium finisher or someone with some sort of race credentials that I need to sort of, obviously I'm not sponsored, though I have got this lovely Zen Run t-shirt that I'm wearing.
Oh, so that looks wonderful.
I have brand affiliations, but as yet no money has changed hands. So I love being able to go with no pressure is sort of I just think I'm just looking forward to the adventure. And I guess that's sort of the way, and I mean, ironically, it is the Zen Run t-shirt I've got on now, but that is sort of the approach I'm wanting to take. And I was kind of thinking about in terms of the Zen Run, the Zen Run stable, and with you now kind of, moving into coaching and, we've heard about you getting certified and not only that, but you've actually got a very long history of consistent running. Like you don't, as far as I'm aware, you don't have one of these resumes of, I've done, 55 ultras, but at the same time, you ran a massive running streak a while back, and you've also run for such a long time. Sort of, I was sort of thinking about in terms of the Zen Run thing. How does that sort of key into your coaching and the ethos of how and what you want to coach people to do?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Ben.
Oh, that's all right.
One of the reasons I decided to open up to coaching, because I have had people ask me quite a bit over especially since I started the podcast 5 years ago, do you do coaching? I'm like, oh, no. Because as you said, I have been running since I was 26 and now I'm 57.
Something.
So that's a long time. So I've got the longevity there. And to me, I feel, and you would have heard me say this many times on the podcast, or the idea of it, I'm quite passionate about people, and I think almost everybody should run, and that it should be their companion for the positive physical and mental health. So I want to make there's less friction for people to run and to have it in their life for as long as possible and in my brain forever.
Yep.
Instead of it just being, I want to do a marathon, that's my bucket list thing, and they do a marathon and then that's it.
Yeah, gotcha. That achievement-based thing. You're talking about lifestyles and longevity and it becoming a companion sort of. Like
exactly. I just want more people to have running as something that's always in their life, a bit like brushing their teeth. It's not like, so whether that means you're a runner who wants a goal, when I think most of us do have goals and that helps us keep going because we get a bit excited about it, at least in different periods of our lives. Or if it means you're just a runner who wants help to be consistent, and that's really what it's about, that being consistent, so that you will literally be able to run forever if you want, because it's not full of the pressure and all of the other, it's the fun and the lightness that it can also has in there, if that makes sense. So it's helping people. That's what I want to do anyway. I want to help people get to a start line if that's what they want, whether that's a Delirious type of start line or if it's a 5K or a 10K or a whatever. But after that race, after the finish line, I want to still be there with them to help them get to whatever their next goal is, or just to help them coast for a while, but to keep running. And I found, my coach is wonderful. She's been with me for quite a few years now. And whether I'm running for a goal or doing a running streak, like you mentioned before, or just running, because I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but I just don't want to put it down.
When you grow up, sort of thing.
That's right. She just gives me a coasting kind of thing where I just don't have to think about it too much. I just look, what has she set me? How do I fit that into my week? Okay, off we go. Yeah. And it's not pressured, but it's still very vital and still very it's like breathing to me, and I find it really hard to explain. And I feel called to be able to help other people find that place in their running,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Oh, that sounds so good, and I love because I hear a lot of people nowadays talk about sort of from the other side of it, but getting to the same point in the middle where they say motivation isn't enough because you'll be motivated and then you won't be motivated. And I guess I'm a bit like that with my hyper focusy sort of style
Yeah.
of thinking, where when that's all I'm thinking about is running for
You're
a
on.
month, I can do it so easily. And that's the story, I guess, of my running life, where I've had these stretches where I have run a lot and then I haven't for years, sometimes at a time, and then I've come back. And then thinking about my running this last year, the best thing about this year has been my consistency. And now probably for about 3-4 years, 2.5, 3 years, maybe, I've been super consistent. And that has had to ride through waves where I haven't been motivated. And it's become more just the habit of what I do, or the routine of what I do, or I run for well-being and mental health, not just because I'm excited about running this week. And that keys nicely into what you're saying in that, sort of running as a long-term choice and a long-term thing you take with you isn't necessarily going to be, the City to Surf's coming up. That's still awesome. Why not do a bit of training for that? But then when the City to Surf's gone, running can still be such an amazing part of your life to carry forward. And that for me fits that Zen run ethos so nicely. So
There's also, it's very similar and pretty much the same type of thing that you just said, but that the hustle culture part of that. So if you sign up for the City to Surf, and then you hustle, then everything else in your life almost takes a back seat, a bit like that person you were talking about a minute ago, including, your family and your friends. Yep. And then number one, they all get grumpy. Oh, no, you signed up for something again and now we won't see you at lunchtime on a Sunday or something.
Yep.
Number two, you get yourself injured and then you get really sort of guilty about that and feel quite upset because we tie our identity to that goal that we've publicly told everyone about.
Yep.
So it's how to get to those goals without the hustle culture coming in and without it being so it changes our lives and in a not always a positive way when that happens. So it's how can you be more relaxed about it, and how can it be actually it's okay if you don't get maybe it's A-type personality. It's okay if you don't do every single training that's been put in your plan for the week. In fact, you can adjust it because your life looks like this week.
And you can trust yourself to make that decision probably and be at peace with it, isn't that? Yeah.
So that's pretty much the story of my life with the running. Is trying to work out how to fit it around two.
I love these therapy sessions, Michelle. Kind of stuff, Yeah. No, I think that's awesome, and that will, as there are different coaches, different offerings, different things out there, people will naturally get around the ones that sort of feel genuine and suit where they're at, and I love that, and I love to see even in our community, in the running community we're part of, seeing new people coming into coaching from their different experiences with their different sort of focuses. I love there's all that choice, and people will go, actually that's me, or that's more how I want to be, and will gravitate to the coaches and the supports and the communities that fit how it works for them. Because we don't all, as much as most of us, follow the Instagram accounts that sort of have quite a focus and a way of the way running's done and so on. They're all a bit different, but we don't have to fall into those main homogenous sort of ideals. I'm the naturalist runner, I'm the vegan runner, I'm the podium runner, I'm the run club runner. But there's all these coaches which are real people with real experience that people will gravitate into and find a genuine fit, not the I'm aspiring to be like that Instagram runner, but genuine people that are there for the journey with you. I just think it's so awesome. And as much as I don't have a coach, I'm part of these communities and these conversations, and I love it when you find people that are like, actually this is more for me.
I think, as you alluded to there is a coach for everyone, but not everyone needs a coach, and a lot of it is related to personality. And who you want to, who you get on with in that way, and that their coaching would be, you think might suit your style,
Again, I feel like we're talking about therapists, not coaches.
Oh,
But,
totally. Actually, there's a lot of synergy with running.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I was a personal trainer in my 20s, and which is when I was running a fair bit, and yeah. In reflection, I mean, I knew at the time, we're sort of doing a bit of talk therapy here, but I won't dig further down that line. But of course, the crossover. I mean, this is when you're here to support and bear witness to and hold space for people and offer encouragement and gently guide them, do a lot of listening. Yeah, of course, they're sort of two sides of a very similar coin, aren't they?
They are. I think something about helping people reach goals and be a better version of themselves, or be the version, you were talking before about that person who gets up at 4:30 in the morning is not necessarily the person who set the alarm. But helping us make those decisions, because, oh my gosh, how proud do you feel when you do get up, even though you're not? Yeah. Like, it's helping you have those moments in your life, because they give us confidence. They make us feel like you don't have to always cross a finish line to get that sense of achievement and that sense of there's nothing I can't do. Sometimes it is
absolutely
the rest of the day after doing something like that I didn't want to do but did anyway. I feel great about myself.
Oh, it's so true, and it can be a one specific training run, or it can even just be 10 minutes in a run, or just a realization during a run that it feels so good, or it's great, or geez, it was hard to get up this morning, but I'm enjoying.
I did it.
I'm enjoying being the person that does that, but also, of course, in the actual moment of it. Running brings us some amazing things, doesn't it?
Yes, we need to get more people doing it, or more people continuing to do it, not dropping out after they reach their goals.
Exactly. Well, I love it, Michelle. Sounds awesome.
Bea. Thanks for asking. There you go. Anybody interested, reach out to me. You never know. I might help you get to a finish line.
Oh, no doubt.
Start line anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
Beautiful.
Is there anything else you wanted to share about what you've got coming up?
Better not. I think we've burnt the clock pretty hard. I think I've pretty much said it all, and I guess how many? So it's February.
49 days on mine, so it'd be 50 days for yours.
So what's the schedule from here, Michelle? I guess we get another check-in for me from here, March around this time, and then. I know. What's that? I'll see you there.
Pretty much, yes. Wow. And then we'll do a big wrap-up call afterwards. At least that's what we did. Well, we do individual ones, and then we might do a party one, which is kind of fun. All of us together.
Sounds fantastic. Well, I look forward to another month of great running, and you too, and more chats.
We'll have lots of fun. Thanks for sharing,
awesome.
Ben. Good luck.
Thanks, Michelle.
And that's a wrap on this month's check-in. A huge thanks to our athlete for sharing another honest look into what it really takes to train for something as big, bold and slightly bonkers as Delirious West. We'll be back with them next month for another update, so be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss a step. Whether you're training for your own ultra or you just love dot watching with a cup of tea and a bicky, you're in the right place. And if you've got a mate training for something epic or needing a nudge to start, send the podcast their way. Catch you on the next one.